Well, hello and welcome again to Edison Light Globes video. I'm Phil Greenwood, and today what I thought we'd do is talk about electrical safety. Now, in the last 3 weeks, we've had quite a few customers who've been purchasing small quantities of fittings and parts and electrical components and sockets and lamp holders with the idea that they're making obviously their own light fittings. Now, we did have a question via YouTube about electrical safety in relation to plumbing pipe lights, general lights and everything. We did have a question, and the answer to the question was probably a little bit more complicated than a simple answer would be. So what I thought we'd do is talk about electrical safety in relation to, well, mains voltage going through metal fittings. The idea is you're supposed to protect people from being electrocuted. Now, if you get mains voltage direct connected to your hand or whatever, with no protection, it will most likely kill you. So it's very important that we understand a little bit. Now, firstly, can I say, if you're not sure, consult an electrician to be absolutely sure. But in order to give you a bit of an overview, I thought we'd discuss the reasons we do various things the way we do, and hopefully in a DIY project that might assist you guys. So the first thing I'll talk about is the idea of an earth or a ground. Now, most metal fittings, most light fittings, most electrical appliances, they have 3 cables: active, neutral and earth. That'd be for 120 volts, 240 volts, 220 volts, doesn't really matter. Mains voltage, AC, you'll have 3 cables at the most. Sometimes 2, mostly 3. The earth cable being the third. What this cable does is essentially, if it's connected to the structure, that is the physical component, that is the light fitting, the brass, the pipe or whatever, if there's a connection, electrical connection to the earth, then if the active cable should ever come adrift and come into contact with the outside of the fitting, it will then short directly to earth via the earth in the house or the building or whatever, and it should blow the RCD, the residual current device. It should blow the fuse, either the little bit of wire fuse, very old-fashioned fuse, or most people have got a circuit breaker to fuse that. So without anybody having touched it, if the active has come loose and come into contact, it will short and then turn off the circuit and there'll be no power and you shouldn't get electrocuted by it. So the thing we've got to do is we've got to make sure that we have some way to protect from this happening. That is active coming into contact with metal parts. Now, it's not always the case that you have metal parts. Sometimes where you have, say, Bakelite, you only have plastic. And so therefore, if the active comes out, it's not going to touch anything that you're going to touch and be live, because it's not, connected to electricity? Conductive. Good work. It's not conductive. However, if we're making plumbing pipe fittings, there is a chance that the active could pull out, could come into contact with our outside case. Now, this is almost like a conduit fitting, and the rules apply the same as that of conduit. The first thing we've got to do is we've got to deburr. So I'm going to show the camera that. We'll pull all the burrs out. When you cut and thread pipe, you'll get a lot of burrs, and it will be sharp edges. Now, we use, a file to file that out. There is a tool that somebody's taken, I had here, a deburring tool. You can deburr the outside, you can deburr the inside, but certainly the inside is important because that stops the cable from getting caught on the fitting and wearing through and coming into contact with the copper wire. So the thing we do, and I'll explain, all of our brass lamp holders, whether they're E27, E26 with their socket or lamp holder, 240 volts, 220 volts, 120 volts, doesn't matter what it is, we have an earth tab. In the case of the socket, we have a top earth connector which connects the cabling to the brass, which connects to the pipe via our pipe fitting, plumbing pipe fitting. So these are all threaded together, which means there is a direct connection between the earth and the outside casing of the fitting. Now this applies both 120 volts and 240 volts. Here's a 1/2 inch version of this. That's a brass lamp holder to plumbing pipe fitting. You'll see here there is a plumbing pipe thread one end and a lamp holder thread the other end. So inside these is an earth connection. The earth connection connects us to the outside of the lamp holder, and the lamp holder connects to the pipe coupler, and the pipe coupler connects to the pipe. It's a bit like them bones, but that's how we get an earth into a custom fitting for DIY. Now, the question we had was, where we wire these, should we have an earth, or should we have a double insulated cable? And that does your head in, right? A double insulated cable. I'm going to explain what that means. Here is a standard double insulated cable. This is 3 cores inside another core, and you'll see the 3 separate insulated cables wrapped around the outside. So the idea of that is that if it's inside some component like conduit, plumbing pipe or whatever, if there is any wear from a burr that we didn't remove, it has to go through 2 separate layers before it gets to the conductor. That's double insulated. It means there's 2 insulating layers between the active and the body of the product. Now, the question we have is that these sorts of cables, which is what you'd expect, are fairly difficult. They're difficult to wire into things because they're a bit inflexible. The other thing I'd like to point out, that inside a conduit or inside a plumbing pipe, you either have to earth or you have to have double insulated. So what that means is, if you earth, you can use single insulated wire inside the plumbing pipe fitting. However, what we have is a very special single wire system. We have a couple of spools here that we keep separately, and we have these single wires, active, neutral, earth, and we have these manufactured as single double insulated. And that doesn't make a lot of sense, but they are 2 insulating layers on this cable. Now, these are certified for use in Australia, Europe. Our North American cable is UL listed, and it's certified as well as double insulated single cable. Now, it's really hard to see and most people miss it. I'm going to hold it up to the camera to show you, but there are definitely 2 insulating layers, inside, outside, and conductor. Very hard to see, but the idea of this cable is that if you've got stock, or you need a couple of metres or 20 metres of active neutral earth or whatever, and you're doing a little bit of work, if you always use double insulated single cable, you're covered. You're covered whether you earth or whether you don't, because it's double insulated if you don't have an earth, or it's double insulated if you do have an earth. Then we've got double protection. So what that means is you're probably better off erring on the side of caution and using an insulated cable that is a hard wearing. It's got 2 sheaths. One's clear actually, but it will not wear out as easily as a single insulated cable. So this is a good solution, and we have it in stock because we manufacture a twisted braided double insulated cable, which has the same problem. It needs to be double insulated but single. So these products are on the website. They're in stock. I think $1.50 a metre, something like that. Not too expensive. They're PVC, both of them. So there's a PVC cover covered by another PVC cover. There's documents on the website that support their certification. You can download those and prove to your electrician that that's what you used. So, all good. As a result of all of the work that we've done promoting DIY and all the people who've asked questions and all the people who are using our product at home to manufacture light fittings for their own house, this is a very important part of making sure that you do the right thing. If you start with the intent to do the right thing, make sure you have an electrician in there somewhere so he can check by asking you what you've done so that you know the light fitting that you've made is safe, and not only for you because you know what you did, but for the next 50 years. There could be anybody in the property accessing that light fitting. You need to make sure it's safe over the long term. So I think that's everything. I think we covered it all. I don't have many other things I can remember, but anyway, that'll do. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, fantastic to let us know through YouTube, or you can just contact us through the website. If you like the video, subscribe, the usual thing, but what the heck. Next week, maybe we'll do another video on another answer to another question. We'll see how we go. Bye for now.